this unexpected reading. I was actually setting up for another one that I'm about to film about connections that would be beneficial to you or what you're looking for in a connection that would be good for you. But Spirit nudged me more than once over the past week to do a, just kind of random message from them. I have no idea what the message is for the collective. And since I finished up the reading, I'm going to do that. So we're going to get a couple oracle cards to get an idea of what Spirit is going to be giving us a message about. I already shuffled cards, don't worry. Okay, hi. You're excited. A couple cards on what we're getting a message about today, Spirit. Thank you. One more card, please. Thank you. Yeah, awesome. Cards going wild. Absolute apeshit. Got Dignified or bottom deck Strength. Shoot over there. Got Libra, number 7, Balance. Got Pisces, Sensitize, number 12. You got me throwing the cards everywhere. We got Mercury in reverse, Messages, and number 20. It's very interesting that all three of these cards are very much balance. Like the Libra scales, balance very much. But Pisces is also represented by 2 fish, as it is in this one. And they're very yin and yang energy, very much balancing, like the divine masculine and feminine, I speak English, divine masculine and feminine energies in you. Your emotions and your actions. More about getting in tune with the more sensitive side of yourself. With the Mercury reverse, also 2 snakes. Snakes are very powerful energy. They can be very sneaky and dangerous, but they're also very powerful, wise, able to transform and molt, leave behind old experiences and take with it the knowledge and messages that they got from it instead of the weight, the baggage, if you will, that's all left behind and unnecessary, etc. And I feel like that's really what we're getting into, is that you, the collective, we are a very powerful being and able to use our energy, our experience, our wisdom to be very empathetic, and not only be empathetic, but turn that compassionate energy into change, into growth, into helping others, into taking your knowledge and putting it to use, as in, like, if you have a very, like, managerial energy, if you're very much like a leader type, then being the one to step in and, like, lead the pack when there's confusion, or when there's if there's something going on that is unorthodox, unprecedented, you being the one to step up and suggest solutions instead of just standing around bystander, like twiddling the thumbs and just hoping it'll blow over or get fixed by someone else. Because unfortunately, as we're seeing on a lot of times in the world, that doesn't just get fixed, it just kind of gets ignored and hot potatoed from one person to another until either it kind of all just melts into a big mess, or someone puts on their big boy pants and steps up to the plate. And I can feel like that might be something that we're avoiding, is the stepping up to the plate and speaking our minds, even if we have the right idea, even if we have the ability, even if we have the skills and knowledge that might be needed to progress things forward, to make change possible. You might be doubting yourself, you might be unsure, you might be avoiding it because maybe the truth hurts or sucks, maybe the message isn't something that people want to hear. Like, you're very much a peacekeeper and sensitive to everyone else's emotions and feelings, and what will they think, and how will this affect them. And you don't want to just, like, satisfy you and feel good and go home and be like, alright, well, that was great, knowing that other people at the end of the day aren't as well off or as happy and healthy. You want everyone else to be thriving too, and that's a great goal. Don't get me wrong, but there's also the difference between I don't want to hurt anyone unnecessarily and cause unnecessary grief. I don't want to, and or like I would like to help other people, and if I already have enough, or if I'm taken care of, then I would like to extend a hand to someone else. That's fine. But then there's also, well, I don't want to say this because how will they react? Or I don't want to do this because what if something goes wrong with them and they can't handle it, or they need me or something, because let's get things clear. Yeah, especially if these aren't like kids of yours, dependents. Obviously, if it's dependents, it's a different variable because they literally need you. Children, pets, things of that nature, and like dependents by the state, etc. Like they kind of need you to help them, but it's not wrong to want to take a break and or need some space and just to feel and get things out. Like, I'm stressed, I need to get away for a minute. Obviously, don't do like irresponsibly, but like if you need just like a break, just step away or just to vent to someone, that understandable. But for other sakes where you're just like, well, how will they react, or gosh, what if things cave in on while I'm gone? These are probably adults. Well, this is a business, a friendship, a relationship, a family member. They are adults. They are grown. And as much as you can continue to help them and feel for them and care for them, you don't need to light yourself on fire to keep them warm, so to speak. You don't need to hold your tongue if it's only to preserve their feelings. Like if let's say like they're, I don't know, they keep making comments about something that you do, or the way you do things, or maybe even like belittling your opinions, your emotions, or ignoring boundaries is something that I'm hearing. Like with the Libra and the Pisces, you might be very much willing to just kind of like shrug off people overstepping your boundaries or ignoring things you said, or even to the point of like gaslighting and or like just clingy over codependent energy where they're like always on you, always the spotlight's always on you to solve their problems and be the Superman in the situation. And that's exhausting. That shouldn't be anyone's job, really. And if that's something that is getting to a point of bothersome where you're always the one who's getting called into work when someone's sick, or you're always the one who's giving money or coming to mediate when things are wrong, or always the shoulder to cry on but never having a shoulder to cry to, then that needs to be expressed. That needs to be put out in the opening, because you might be strong, you might be able to handle yourself, you might have your life together, but that doesn't mean you're not allowed to be weak, or allowed to ask for help, or allowed to say no, allowed to have you time. Look, it's hard to be the pillar of strength. I can imagine that, which one is it, Atlas? I think so. The one holding up the earth in the Greek mythology. I'm pretty sure, yeah. I'm sure Atlas gets tired, and if Heracles would come and give him a break, that would be appreciated. I'm sure when he got that break, he was like, oh, yes, thank you. I can actually stretch. Get that crick in the crick in my spine. I laughed because I immediately heard Genie in Aladdin say, 10,000 years stuck in a lamp will give you such a crick in the neck. Like, that's definitely you. You need time to get that crick out and stretch and feel, do for you, by you, instead of worrying about everyone else's mess for a minute. Interesting. I'm excited to get more messages for you. This Pro Tarot deck shuffled. Go get some water. Gosh darn, I'm thirsty. I just got the message. Especially with that Pisces. Pisces can be lend itself towards like very dreamy, illusory states. Like, how do you call that? Altered states. There we go. So you might be relying more on, you know, substances, various substances, whichever one might be your vice, your choice, to either keep you okay, perky, happy, upbeat. Obviously, this is like antidepressants or something. That's different. I'm not telling you to get off your meds. But we're talking like drink and smoke, things like that. You might be using those to, get by, maybe even leaning into them more heavily now than ever because the pressure or the needing to, the things that want to be said, things that want to come out versus not wanting them to come out. Or you might be just, that might be the only way that you feel comfortable voicing things is when you're on these substances. And if so, you might want to, examine what it is and why that you only feel comfortable speaking and being open and vulnerable. Excuse me. In these altered states. Because that definitely is something that would not only would not only help you express yourself more freely and be more confident with yourself if you don't have to always depend on some sort of chemical courage, but it would also give you insight on yourself, getting to the core of what it is that is bothering you, helps you not depend on the substance so much, and gives you all sorts of clarity. The new meaning in clarity, double clarity. I'm actually going to move you. You are in my way, no offense. I'm using you to help get messages out, but this is like a shuffle, so you gotta go. That might be part of the message. Just need to take certain parts of people or aspects in your life and, slide them to the left a little. Make different slots of time. Make less time for them, or take their opinions with a little less grain of salt. And keep them at an arm's length. Alright. Spirit, what message do we have for the collective today? Okay. Bottom deck is 5 of Cups in reverse, yes. Doing a lot of healing, introspection, reevaluating of our emotions and what we're doing with them, how we're serving ourselves and how we're taking care of ourselves, what is and isn't serving and what is and isn't needed around us. Got that High Priestess. Oh, what fell on the floor? My favorite game. That's it. Cool. How do you want to fall? Sideways. Love that. Thank you. Got the 7 of Cups. 9 of Wands in reverse. Alright, what do we got here? Seven of Wands. 4 of Pentacles in reverse. Eight of Swords in reverse. Moon. And the Page of Wands. Interesting. A lot of Wands energy. Absolutely. Getting back to what fuels your fire. instead of worrying about everything else, status quo, and stepping on toes. I really feel you in that Seven of Wands energy. And you're trying to move out of it more into that. Actually, yeah. Noticing how in the Seven of Wands, the crow is standing on the wand just like he is in the Page of Wands. And that's kind of how you are. You might even have a grasp on what it is that's bothering you, what it is that you want to speak up about, that's been nagging at you. For others of you, might even just be like a vague feeling, but you know something's off. That moon energy, like it's the Nine of Wands, like you're bothered, the balance is off, you can't do this anymore, you feel fatigued, you feel worn out, and this situation is either suddenly or it's been for a while just kind of dragging on you like ankle weights, and you're tired, you're avoiding it, you're gritting and bearing it. And that's not how it should be. And even if you're not completely like aware of why it's bothering you, or what's changed, what's different, what needs to change, you know that there's something off. With that High Priestess, you're well aware. There's something, whether it's just your gut feeling, or your higher self is, or your spirit team. For some of you, if you're more spiritually inclined, if you're more in touch with your spirit team. For some of you, you're not as in touch as you should be or want to be, and they're like, knock knock, we have messages we would like you to hear, we've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. I'm also getting out with the Seven of Cups, that you're confused, a little bit lost, and it might be because you're out of touch with your spirit team, or just because you're a little out of touch with yourself, your goals, your emotions, because you've been putting so much emotional energy and just energy in general into other people, into keeping the peace, into some of you minding your business, what I've heard, as in like trying not to pay attention to what they were doing and how it's not aligned with what you want or need or care about. Like, I feel like it's something that was like kind of like a bra that doesn't fit. Like it might ride up, and it might bunch up, and it might pinch me in the back, and it might like my boobs might spill over some, or like it might spill under the bottom. It might just look a mess, but you know, I need a bra, so therefore I guess I'm gonna wear it until I get a new one. And while I mean, for necessity's sake, if you have to, like, when situations arise, I guess, yes, but it's really not good for you, and it's really something that if you have the ability, opportunity to change, to get out of this situation, to make moves towards addressing this problem so that you can move out of this stress and make those resolutions. If it's as easy, especially as just speaking up, making a conversation, addressing the elephant in the room, talking to the people, having a meeting, a conversation with the boss, with the supervisor, with the parents, with the family, with the friends, with the partners, with whoever it is or whatever it is, and getting out your grievances, getting out what it is that feels off, whether it's just like, hey, you know, I don't know what's up, but I'm just been really not feeling great about X, or if it's specifically like, bro, can you please do this stuff, or can you please stop with this? You are driving me nuts. And it really could be anything as simple as like bad habits that they do that bother you, or things that ways that they communicate with you, ways that they treat you, ways that you guys interact. For some of you, I'm really with that Four of Pentacles in reverse. I'm really getting people that take, and then don't give back. And they're like, oh yeah, I got you, I'll get to you, or I'll pay you back, I'll figure it out. And they never do. And you're just like patiently waiting, quietly. You don't want to really say anything, but you're like, I would really like that back. Thank you. And there's nothing wrong with asking. I mean, there's also nothing wrong with, like, if they get back at you later and it's like, hey, sorry, my bad, I was broke. But also if they're like, hey, yeah, I don't have any money, but then they're also constantly like eating out and buying new clothes and stuff, and you're like, bro, where's my cash? Or like, if they said they need a new computer or something, and you lent them your computer, and then you just never see that computer again, but then you see on Snapchat that they got a new computer, and you're like, dude, where's my computer? What did you do with it? Hello? Not unreasonable to ask for that back. To ask for them to confess, correct, be responsible. With the Page of Wands, I really think that you're more looking for more freedom, more than anything, to be able to be yourself, by your true self, and express yourself in a way that you don't really feel like you can around in this situation. You don't really feel like you can stretch your wings and reach your full potential here. And I keep looking at this Five of Cups and how it's looking, the bird's looking at the Three of Cups very intently. You really might be reevaluating your circle and who and how you're spending your time, and if it's making you as happy as you want, if it's as satisfactory as you'd like, and how you can change that, make it better, make it work for you. Especially without ripping up the whole foundation. I feel like for most of you, there's adjustments that can be just made with conversation, with reevaluation of the situation. That rhymed on accident. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, actually. Dr. Seuss, what's poppin'? But I definitely recommend that if you aren't already aware of what's wrong, what's bothering you in particular, get in touch with you. Whether that's meditating, whether that's just keeping track of how you feel in certain situations around certain people, certain times of the day, check-ins, journaling would work really well. There might even be some psychology videos you can look up on YouTube, and I know there's several channels that have videos on like just psychological symptoms, just situations, reactions, things of that sort, and it might give you some insight like, oh yeah, that's kind of how I've been reacting, that's kind of how I've been feeling, I see that in me. Definitely. But it's something that definitely needs to be put into words and be given the light of day, the clarity that is necessary and is deserved, because you deserve as much respect and understanding for your thoughts, for your needs, for your emotions as any other person that you care for, any person in your life who you might stop and give this same sympathy and empathy and space for. Because I feel like you are definitely an understanding person, and if someone was like, hey, I need some space, or hey, I've been feeling bleh recently, or you've been doing something and I'm not really happy or comfortable with it, you'd be like, oh yeah, roger that, I can modify immediately. But you're worried that people won't extend that same favor or that same kindness towards you, and maybe even in the past you have been with in situations where you did get shot down, or you did have people who were just like, nah, I think I will keep disrespecting you, thanks though. And you're kind of either healing or still reeling from those situations, and recognizing that while some people do suck, that is true, there are bad apples, not all the apples are going to be bad, and there are some people in your court. And I feel like for the most part, with the Seven of Cups, most of these options in these cups are pretty cool. And we already went over how there's the snakes. Snakes are pretty cool. I feel like snakes are pretty chill. So most of these options look pretty cool. The only one that looks kind of mildly sus is that one. Kind of just very sharp. I'm not sure what it is. And the bleeding heart, because how did you get that? I'll even excuse the crow skull, because that could just be like found, old. It could be your grandpa's. Who knows? I really feel like most of the options, most of the people in your life around you, especially the ones who you cherish, are going to respect your space, be understanding, give you the support and or the distance that you need, and be right there for you whenever you want them, whenever you need them, for whatever they need. It's just a matter of speaking up, speaking your mind, voicing the concern and the problems, and being articulating it properly, not lashing out is another thing. And like being sure that you're coming from a place of understanding and compassion as much as you would for anyone else, and knowing that for the most part, these whatever it is that's bothering you is probably an unintentional thing. Now, of course, if there's someone like bullying you, harassing you, being an absolute just dickweed to you, completely stepping over boundaries and stuff, be a little bit more firm. But I still wouldn't say like attack them. Like be firm and be like, hey, yo, this can't stand. This is not gonna work. I hear you, I see you, but like you need to understand that this is 3 steps too far. I've told you, I've warned you, and you have continued. This needs to get worked on. Tell me where you're not understanding. Tell me where the problem is. And if they can't work with you, then you need to work around them. Whether that means working them out of your life or taking a step back on your own. Unfortunately, sometimes we have to compensate for other people's idiocracy. Alright, gonna shuffle these celestial body oracle cards. Get another sip of water. I'm violently thirsty. Definitely need you to speak your mind. Clear your throat. And drink water. All of you, drink water right now. This is a threat. Pick up your water bottle. Or Santa Claus won't hit your house. Alright, get that shuffled enough. Get some advice from Spirit. Delicious. Alright. Alright, Spirit, what message do you have for the collective? What advice do you have for the collective? What advice do you have for the collective? Okay. Advice for the collective. Alright. Okay. Oh my god. Do not light it on fire! You couldn't see that. It flew off camera, but this card, the Sextile, decided to quite literally yeet itself into my lit incense. And if it had fallen just a slight angle otherwise, it would have just started melting. So, you know, interesting. Giving very much work, be amicable, but do for you before you start trying to work and for others. You know, you are top priority. You are priority number one. Your needs, your wants first. And if it conflicts with other people before it works with other people, that's okay. Don't. Ooh, okay, Crystal. Bye, Citrine. Bye, Citrine. Don't worry about if things don't perfectly line up and aren't perfectly. What do you call that? Harmonious. Yeah, that's the word. Scorpio in reverse. And I lost a card under the desk. Excuse me. Ooh, come here. Water. Yeah. We got Void of Course over here. I didn't pick that one. Sorry. And the bottom deck is 22 in reverse. Absolutely. Change is both in your hands and in the hands of others. Because, okay, so it's twofold. So, Scorpio in reverse and the water. It's like it's all about how you feel and what you need. But if you don't instigate this change, then they can't instigate the change. You're just going to continue, lighting yourself on fire to work with people. Which instead you need a break. You need to step back. You need to be able to prioritize yourself, your health, your ability. I keep thinking back to the Dignified card, and it really looks like that 22 with all the rainbows, and they really work together. You can't be harmonious and work together unless you are completely in your best element and doing 100 for you. Because you'll always be just kind of riding off of their vibe, their opinion, what they're putting out there and working with. and it'll be hard for you to touch base and make sure that you are not only like faithful and still like on the right path of what you believe in, but also that it's an honest like depiction of what you can do. Because if you're just pumping out nonsense to fill the queue, or saying things to keep the peace, or keeping up appearances just because, then it's gonna feel hollow. It's not gonna really get anything accomplished. It's like a hamster on a wheel. Sure, you're running, but like, where to, buddy? Might feel satisfactory, but you'll hop off after that and be like, ah, nice, I'm still right here. And with the 22 in reverse, I really, oh, and there's the two snakes again. I really feel you harnessing your power of your own power, like of that divine. I remember, I feel like I mentioned earlier about the divine masculine and feminine balancing with the Pisces, and it's really giving me that energy of you mastering your own balance and energy before you throw yourself into working with other people again and committing to maybe like really strenuous projects that are group oriented, or committing yourself to even like some of you. I'm really getting the sense like a lot of you might be like a therapist friend, or like the paternal or maternal friend who looks out for other people and does so much for everyone else, and is wants to make sure everyone else is floating and you're sinking to the bottom meanwhile. And this is your balancing of all of this feminine, receptive, caring energy, understanding and seeing all that's going on with an empathetic heart, versus the masculine energy in you, the Page of Wands, that action and putting your foot forward to make progress, even if it might leave a little of a vulnerability. Because, you know, you can't just have a line of attack that's all defense. You gotta have an offense at some point. Someone's gotta make a move, or you guys are just gonna be running in circles with shields up all the time and waiting to deflect things. You got a wand. Yeah, that's good for jousting. If you need to use it for defense, that's fine. Just take a quick break. Don't be afraid to ask for help, a break, some change. And again, boundaries, setting boundaries. I'm really here with that void of course, and there's a lot of ice around, putting things, cooling things down, and setting limits, rules, routines. Even just getting a little bit of space, like getting out, or creating an environment in which you can like separate yourself from the party. Like if you live with roommates, having your room where you can just go away and be on your own, or like on a side room where you can just dip, that is isolated. If you have family, the same kind of concept, having like your room away from everyone, and having boundaries set, like, okay, I'm allowed to be in here, you have to respect that, and if you need me, you have to like knock or whatever, so that you have time to, you know, do you and have privacy, and not feel like you are constantly on the chopping block for everyone else to ring to phone a friend if they need something. And I really feel like that will lead to even more harmony. Like you might feel like these boundaries, these conversations, this change is going to cause loss and lack and strain. And honestly, if it does, like if someone is protesting your boundaries and your needs and what you want, and they don't need to be working with you and in your life anyway. Ooh, ouch. Why are they here? To watch you suffer? Like, see yourself to the door if you are mad about the fact that I need a break and me time and to consider me, you know, instead of throwing down my life for someone else who is A, not my life, and B, not giving the same passion and care back to me that I'm giving to them. So they can kindly scoot to the door so that you can continue recuperating your energy, taking care of things, and figuring out the best course of action that doesn't require you lighting yourself on fire to work with people. So once those people see themselves at the door, the other people, once the other two cups that are all nasty are emptied out, the other 5 cups will be easy to choose from, and then you'll be able to really mesh with them, work with them, and create better bonds and connections with them. And added bonus, you'll have even more self-confidence, self-respect, and self-understanding than you would have if you stayed in this energy of just defense and living for other people and wearing yourself down to the wire and burning yourself at both ends, tall child. Because we're all just tall children, and if you just ignore your emotions, then all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. And we all know how that ends. If you don't know, that's The Shining. It's a murder. It ends with murder. I'm kidding. I'm sure that if things went wrong, it wouldn't end with murder. But, it definitely wouldn't end with sunshine and happiness. You can't just ride the rose-colored glasses off into the sunset. You can't just put on rose-colored glasses and walk into the fiery building and be like, "What do you mean fire? It's fine in here." You gotta do something about it, Chief. You gotta speak your mind. You gotta say something. Speak up. It's not as scary as you think. Work for yourself. Defend for yourself. Be your own defense attorney. Yeah. But don't actually be your own defense attorney in a court of law. All right. I think that is all I've got for us in this message group. I almost said group, but I have no groups. This is just a random message that Spirit wanted to do. You want me to one more cards? Okay. I was gonna stop, but I looked at the deck and the deck made eye contact with me. What final advice do you have for us, Spirit? Final advice, Spirit. Okay, yeah. That rocketed. Spirit, what final advice do you have for us? Thank you. Alright. Thank you. And 2 of Swords in reverse, yeah. Keeping down the path you're on is just going to end in things not working out for anyone. And I just messed the camera up. Of course I did. Scoot yourself. Close enough. Alright, where did it go? Come here. I feel like another card just threw itself somewhere. Where did it go? Oh. There's a whole card down here. Not like a playing card, I mean a tarot card that I never saw. And then the other card has just vanished. Gods. Yeah, there was a red card. I remember it has completely vanished. Where did it go? Alright, and our little ninja card that decided to abscond under the darkest recess of my desk. And it was the 3 of Cups. I told you it was a red card. I also found the 3 of Wands that apparently threw itself under the desk earlier. So, yeah, this is getting added to the advice section. What else we got? Got the 6 of Wands. 4 of Wands. Oh, boy. 8 of Pentacles reversed. Excuse me. My brain was just like, I'm still reeling from the card search. We got, I didn't put that down. Got the 8 of Swords in reverse again. Same card, I'm going to put it right there. This 5 of Wands. And the 9 of Swords. Yeah, I'm really getting that this is a bigger worry right now, like in your head, than it's going to be. Like, sure, it's going to cause, there's going to be not a conflict, but, a conflict of opinions. There's probably going to be someone who says something, or someone who got an objection your honor or something. Things might not go, perfectly smooth, but it's not like it's going to be an actual roadblock. It's not going to actually cause things to stop. You're much more worried about this situation than it actually warrants. Like I said, there might be, with that Two of Swords in reverse, there might be a couple people, like one or two, like a handful out of the bunch, who are of actual concern, because you're like they might actually react in a way, but again, if they react like that, if they take it sourly that you need time, space, and or different accommodations, then it probably wasn't going to progress with them anyway. It probably wasn't going to be anything solid, healthy, or otherwise welcome and to be around. So it'll be happier to have them out of your life than to keep them around. And you'll notice after they're away that you feel lighter, that things progress faster, that things are going smoother. You might even get people in your life to fill their space, and you're like, huh, them? Don't even miss them. Who? What is this? Like, for example, going back to business, if like you'd like a raise because you've been putting in extra hours being the boss, being the extra helping person, getting that overtime, doing the big man in charge, the big person in charge, and you're like, I would like a raise, a compensation, some sort of recognition of my work. And they're like, no, screw you. Then you quit, you leave, you might be worried, like, dang, that was a stable job, I was there for a while, this is it, this is the end, things are gonna go downhill. And then you get an offer, or you find your way with some work and figuring out a plan to progress towards, maybe another job that you wanted calls you, or get into school to learn a trade or something that you wanted to work in, and it ends up working way better with your life and your schedule, paying better, taking care of you better, and taking you further than the job that you were at could have ever dreamt of doing. And you're like, dang, if I hadn't spoken my mind, if I hadn't asked my boss for a raise, and he hadn't struck me down, where would I be now? You are going to realize after these obstacles move out of your way, whether it's peacefully or with a little bit of force, that it is better to have already made the move and roll the dice and risk that it's not going to roll out exactly the way you want it to, than to just twiddle your thumbs and hope that things will get better, or that you'll get used to things, because just kind of hoping that things will get better, it never works. There is a 10 in 10 chance that when you just kind of sit on your hands and wait for the universe to serve you, the universe will continue passing you by until you flag them down. Very interesting. Also, how it progresses from 8 to 9. The advice isn't that you're going to progress into worry. The advice is you're progressing out of the worry, really. Getting to the solution, putting the solution into action is going to take you away from this worry and fear and the things that you dread, because you're going to come face to face with the things that you are fearing and dreading, and it's going to go over way easier than you thought. It's going to come out way better than you expected, and you're going to come out on top looking better than ever. Even if it takes a couple of eggs broken, even if it didn't work out exactly the way you had planned and imagined, it's going to work out in your favor. All right. Thank you, Collective, for listening to this sudden and interesting reading message reading, whatever you call this, download. Thank you, Spirit, my guides, as well as all the guides of anyone watching, for helping get this message out, for helping channel this, and helping, just give me these downloads. I really appreciate you letting me channel and get the message out for y'all. Thank you for watching to this point, to the end. If you enjoyed, leave a like. If you really enjoyed and want to see more, subscribe. There's more readings on my channel. If you want to see the decks used, they'll be in the description, as well as information for private reading if you're interested. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next pick a card. Be well.